I'm Tanesha.
And I'm Kiara.
And you're now entering the sister chat. Welcome to Main Event Mamas. Whoa, whoa.
Whoop, whoop. And we're back this week. Barely. We're back this week barely. And so I'm not even going to lie, y'all. I barely made it in life today. Because yesterday there was a lot that happened. And so I feel that my spirit is currently lying face down in a puddle
Oh, not
somewhere
a puddle.
with my actual body running on pure, uncut chaos.
Listen, I think we can both agree that this life this week has been such a freaking disaster.
Yes. Yes, we can immediately say that life this week has been a little crazy. And I have questions. Questions for Jesus. I got questions for the sky. I got questions for anyone and everyone who may not have answers. Before we get started, this is your moment to hit that subscribe button because you want to be the first to hear about the insanity that is currently happening in our lives. Now, typically, this is the moment that I remind you you want to be first to, find out about all the new content we have going. But, today it's just to hear the insanity that is our lives. So you want to make sure you hit that subscribe button on whatever platform you're listening on. So whether it is YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, which, I didn't know about that till today. Where else, Tanesha? Where else would you hit that follow button? Amazon, Audible, and others. That's the answer.
My
All
brain
right.
went, wait, hold on. I think you said all of them. I'm going, I don't remember. Like you,
Okay, it's fine. It's fine.
okay.
Anyway, so today,
That just shows you how this week and even this day has been, well, for me anyway.
I mean,
And then,
we are blessed to even just be here at this time, I feel, because it's also a late one. So you know what happens when the mamas get up late and we're talking into microphones when we'd probably be asleep, or I would anyway. I can't speak for Tanisha here, but I would be comfy in my bed.
no, I'd probably sleep or I'll be passenger princess while we working and sleep. I'd be out here working and sleeping. Work and sleep, work and sleep.
So for everyone listening, if your life, like mine, jumped the rails yesterday on October 7th, you were right in the middle of the perfect cosmic storm. That's right. Today, we're unpacking those moments of misfortune. But we're not blaming ourselves because absolutely not. There was nothing here that could have been done. I mean, there were several things that could have been done, but that's not the point. There were some things that we are not taking responsibility
I
for
about to say
this
sometimes
week.
just listening to your gut is the answer. I don't.
Instead, we're blaming the sky. That's right. You heard it here first. We're blaming the literal sky.
Damn full
Right.
moon. Yeah, you harvest things, all
So let's
right.
start.
You harvest.
That's right. Let's start with the hard evidence because I'm going to convince you that this is the sky's fault. So whether you believe me or not yet, you will. Don't worry. So literally, 3 terrible things happened in my life yesterday to the point where I literally had to tell my boss that the one thing that I wanted to tell him was the least traumatizing thing that had happened yesterday. So you may wonder how I ended up like this. Now, don't worry. There is a finger here. Don't worry.
I
It's
know.
still
I looked.
here.
I was like, I said, that's not how it looked like it earlier. Where'd the finger
It
go?
didn't. It's still here. Don't worry. My nails are done. That wasn't done this yesterday. So, but no. It's just because I had to. I'm going to tell you. Just hold that thought. So yesterday morning, like any morning, wakes up with an early wake up call from my oldest. I'm sorry, my second child, not my oldest, who goes, "Hey, I need you to let me into your office." Cool. Thank you for waking me up. an hour and a half earlier than I normally get up so that I could give you whatever you're looking for in my office. And then proceeds to get whatever she needs and walks away. And I think, "Oh, great. I could take a nap or something until they get ready for school." No, no, no. Immediately, my number 1 child comes in and goes, "My phone is broken." "No, it's not," is what I immediately said. Because absolutely not. But anyway, later we find out that, it will not, what's the word? It will not charge because there is a foreign body somewhere in the USB area, in which he proceeds to ask me for canned air. That's right, because fortunately for him, I happen to have some laying around, but what if I didn't? Then
Guess you
this
get
was
the
after he
blowing.
would tried see, that's the thing. This is after he tried to blow into it himself
Oh,
without telling me.
okay.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. So then I proceeded to take the other 45 minutes of the nap time that I was planning on to fix his phone and get it charging by doing the one thing he could have, in fact, done himself. You want to know what that was?
What?
Check Google, because how else do I know how to fix that? I don't know. But anyway, so then I fixed that and whew, we are off to the races, or so I think. And then they're heading out the door and another calamity happens. The very first. So you've heard the story so far and you haven't even heard the part where it starts the calamity. Well, I go upstairs to lay down and immediately I hear my number 1 child calling his sister's name. Now, it was an utter annoyance. So at first I was like, nothing to worry about. Then he says it again and I was like, oh, now I'm getting up because I know she didn't want to go to school today. So let me go make sure she's doing what she wants to do. I mean, what I told her to do. So then I walk down the stairs just as my number 1 child goes, she collapsed on the floor. And I'm like, you say that with such calm energy. Um, but at this point, she's awake and looking at us. So now this is not the first time this has happened, which is why we're not screaming and panicked and running around with our hair on fire. Because we know she has this thing called syncope, which I had never heard of in my life until about 2 to 3 years ago when she scared the bejesus out of my husband by literally face planting in front of him. Thank God he caught her. She did not have that same luck with her brother, however, at all.
He probably do like this. Yo, you good?
He just did not catch her. And then just, I'm like, whew. Now inside, this is where the mom in you starts to panic, but you can't show it because you can't scare the children, right? So I'm like, okay, well, looks like you won't be catching that bus. So let's walk you over to the kitchen table so that I can assess your condition.
The way you say it is so calming.
It is at this moment I pull out my blood pressure machine because clearly I'm a medical professional as well. I like to moonlight in my free time. And I take her blood pressure. It's not cool. It's not bad. It's a little low. So I take it again and it's normal. And so I was like, oh, well, you're definitely going to school, right? Because maybe you're dehydrated. Because at this point, I'm also dealing with teenage girl bullshit stuff in which they do their own thing and stop listening to you. For instance, you should eat dinner. Yeah, I'm good. What did you eat today? About 3 things. When's the last time you ate? Somewhere about 15 hours ago. Why are you doing that? No reason. So in the middle of this insanity, I'm like, let's make sure this person eats because did you eat this morning? Maybe? Not sure. All right then. So in which I drive everybody to school after stopping at the gas station and feeding my child a liquid IV, which, I will absolutely advertise that at the bottom because it's a lifesaver. Nonetheless, she gets a liquid IV. I get dressed for the gym because I am clearly up now. And we get off to school. I drop them off and I think, whew, that was the least thing of the day that could possibly happen. Like, it could be great after this. Well, no. Then, on my way to the gym, I decide to connect with my husband because now I can freak out because there's no children here.
Mm, mm.
Now I can literally be like, WTF? A, how did you handle this? And you were calm about it. When I'm like screaming inside my head, like the inside of my brain is literally screaming while it's quietly processing what to do next. So all you see is the calm facade that we put on for our children and not actually the utter terror that happens on the inside. And it is at that point I am freaking out, but I don't think I am. I tell my husband I am fine. And I go to the store to buy something. Then for whatever reason it breaks, so I have to return it. All in the same 15 minutes or
Oh,
so.
wow. Mm-hmm. That's a lot.
Then I buy another thing because the same thing I needed to get. And I decide to open it because duh. I mean, duh.
Duh.
That's easy. And then I get the bright idea to use a pocket knife that I just keep in my car. Because, I like to have sharp objects in case I gotta cut a bitch.
I like that. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Never know. We got
I know I
shapers.
seem like the really nice one, but I'm just saying you never know. You never know. So I use the sharp object and immediately start to think that's a little stupid. But I'm also still processing the morning and maybe feeling a little aggressive about the feelings I'm dealing with. And so it is that point where I realize I fucked up, right? And I stab myself in the hand, in which I definitely watched the blood spray out like in the
Like,
white meat.
oh,
Well,
like the horror movies where it's like,
yeah,
mm.
I didn't yell. I was too busy being like, are you serious? Are you serious? I am, by the way, outside the gym parking lot. So, like, I
Never went inside.
could have
Did you
just
ever?
been
Did you
inside.
ever go inside? Never.
No,
Mm. Mm.
never made it inside. It was at that point I had to realize that I needed to drive to the urgent care because now I clearly needed stitches. And so I did. I went to drive to urgent care, all while I was on the phone with you
Yep.
and my husband interchangeably, talking about how stupid this was, freaking out about the morning in general, and then trying not to have a panic attack all at the same time. So I go get it stitched up. And in the middle, right before the stitches get put in, I get another phone call. Can you guess from where?
Oh, the girl child.
That's right. The girl child calls me. You want to know why?
Let's think. It happened again.
That's
Oh,
right. And she
ding, ding,
collapsed in the
ding.
middle of her classroom. That's right. Ding, ding, ding. Circle gets a square.
Hey.
And so she collapsed in her class again. And this time, no one caught her again. That's the other part.
They looked at her like,
Did that.
oh.
No one caught her again. But she is so calm on this phone, such as, definitely happened again. I was like, what happened again exactly? I woke up on the floor. Cool.
That's not funny. I'm sorry, but
I mean, it is
it's
now,
the delivery.
looking back at
Yes,
this.
but it's the delivery how you're sitting here saying it. Mm-hmm.
Because it's incredulous, if that makes sense. I'm going to use the SAT word.
Yep.
Like, it just
Incredulous
was
that's
a
what you
moment
said?
in time. Incredulous. Yes.
Incredulous. Have to look
Yes.
that up. Mm-hmm. Okay.
It means like you're in like, it's almost too good to be true, almost too incredible
Okay.
you're just like, this can't possibly be happening. Yeah. So yeah, it's almost like you feel like you're in a movie or you're being punked because this can't be real life.
Mm-hmm.
That incredulous. Not going to use it in a sentence, but you get the gist. I think I just did.
You
The point was,
got it.
it is at this point that I call my husband, who in the middle of this talked about some crappy thing happening in his day that it was crappy, but it definitely wasn't as crappy as the other stuff that happened that day. And so it was at that point I was just like, you need to go get your girl child from school because I am, as you know, still here in the urgent care getting stitched up. And when that was over, I prayed on my way to the grocery store because I was like, I don't know what's out to get me today. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm.
clearly it felt like there was some kind of
Being
energy
pulled in such a
that was just trying to bring all the negativity my
mhm.
way. And I couldn't understand it. And so, I just prayed my way to the grocery store, picked up some food, promptly went home where everybody was. We picked up everyone from school because at this point,
We're just gonna
we
restart the
should have
day.
cashed in the day.
Mhm.
Yeah, we should just cash it into the game. Like, no more, no nothing. It's just too much. And we had a nice quiet evening at the house. Oh wait, no, we did go grocery shopping later. But I got to thinking, Tanisha,
Mhm.
something caused this. You know what I mean? Something is at fault for all the terrible shit happening in one day. Like, it cannot possibly just be nothing. But again, I can't have been the only one who had a crazy day. What about you, Tanisha? How was your day yesterday?
Well, let's see. Let's think about it. I'm gonna say I didn't have such a crazy day as you did, but it
I mean,
definitely.
who does
I
really,
mean,
right? Like,
I will say that I was extra philosophical on points that I would never
mm,
actually be extra philosophical on. Um, and then today I could just say well, I don't know if the moon is still full, but for the last 2 days I have just been extra philosophical. Just, trying
you
to
just been
give,
deep.
yeah, just been real deep and just been trying to give out as much as good information as I can to help anyone who needs some good deep talking to, including myself. Because me myself had definitely had some good deep conversations these last 2 days too, to the point where I'm like,
Mm,
okay, we're really on self reflection right now? Like, that's what we're doing right now, self reflection in this moment. You think it's now the time to do self reflection? Yeah, it is. So,
immediately. Like, yeah,
um,
right now. Anytime's good.
anytime is good. Uh, yeah, like, no, I didn't have any, yeah, like I said, nothing that, even if I had anything negative, it doesn't trump what you had experienced yesterday.
I mean, it doesn't need to trumpet.
I
Like,
mean,
I'm not trying to wish any negativity on you. I'm
no,
just
no, no,
asking.
I'm just saying, but I mean, I think whatever my negative stuff is, I think is normally every day because I always battle with myself every day negatively. So
Well,
yesterday I tried not to.
that's good though.
So that was self-reflection. And
Yeah.
yeah. Today
And
though,
positive. Like, that's
once the
positive
moon I
energy.
guess is over, today whatever overstimulation that was going to happen happened today where we almost didn't make it on here today.
That's right. We almost didn't. And so, see, I did some research because I knew I can't be crazy. This cannot be crazy because bad things can happen, but I don't really feel like it just rains and pours. Like, it feels like there's a break, an umbrella, or something in
Mm,
between. Like, I know that's not always the case because I've heard bad things happen in threes,
they
right?
do.
So I feel like at this point, shot that off. We should be good to go. But
But
again, it
wait.
got me thinking.
Oh, wait, I'm about to say, what was your 3rd? And then I just realized, okay, yeah, mhm.
Yeah, the same. One and three are the same. They just happen to the same person in different locations. Yeah.
Yep.
So I know we're not saying it's like a superstitious type of thing, but like, I want to call it what they called in the 18th century. Cause my research,
Mhm.
the 18th century lawyers called it lunacy. I know the word literally means moonstruck.
I mean, well, I mean, I can tell you for sure it does make sense because
I mean, it was a full moon. That is
I
true.
mean, and I do know, like, working in vet med, we see a lot of crazy stuff when the full moon, and they do come in threes, like death comes in threes, bad luck comes in three, or misfortune comes in threes. And don't add the moon to it, because then you add that to it, then everything is, a little out of sync.
Everything's a
A
possibility.
little thing
That's
out of
right. You're
sync, and you be looking like, "What? Since when?"
Yeah, that's how I felt. That's how I felt. What the is what I wanted to say. But apparently,
Mhm.
it's something about the full moon hitting in the sign of Aries that is like the universe plays a prank on our sanity.
Mm.
First time I've ever heard this, by the way. It's also called the famous Transylvania Effect.
I never heard
And that's
that.
the idea. I know, right? I had never heard about this either. That's the idea that the moon's light drives people to madness. We're not talking werewolves.
I'm about to say, wait, you talking about, like, that Teen Wolf thing? Like, they when they were turned into a wolf
No,
or the
we're
zombie?
not
Okay.
talking about Teen Wolf. We're not talking about Twilight.
Zombies? Nothing? Okay,
We're
got it.
not talking about where. No,
Okay.
the real issue is when a full moon makes your entire schedule and emotional state go off the rails. It's what police, nurses, and 911 dispatchers called a code lunacy shift.
Sorry.
Uh-oh. What's
You
that
hear
word?
that? I had to like I'm like, "Wait, that sounds like that's intense." See? The full moon must be happening because I don't know what that is.
Is it still a full moon?
I don't
I
know
don't
because
know.
that
I don't
sounded
know.
crucial. That sounded, that's from the window. That's crazy, and I'm far away from the window. Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry, but that's
So,
the
back
effect
to
that
what
we
I'm
talking
saying.
about, because
Yes.
something's happening.
So it was a full moon in Aries, which is apparently a very volatile combination, according to my research.
Volatile.
And then apparently, if that's not one way to look at it, there's another combination of astrological things that throw some bows in your life. You know, we're calling this the cosmic conspiracy today.
Mm,
Yeah, I know. Today is a teaching lesson. I've never heard about any of this before in my life. I think this is the episode for my mom. She'll probably get a kick out of this
mm.
because the research I had to do, because this is the sky's fault, as I said. I want to remind you all, this is not something
That
that I'm
damn
taking
full moon.
responsibility for. That's right. So apparently, the first problem is there's a clash between Mercury, the planet of thought and communication,
Mm,
and Pluto, the planet of power, secrets, and the underworld.
mm.
It's also known as the Illuminati Transit.
Oh, see, I don't know. That's low.
I know, right? I
Mm,
said the same thing.
mm.
And Pluto is the lord of the shadows. So when it gets into a tense square with Mercury, the goal is to unearth secrets and stir up paranoia. Paranoia. Sorry. Does that sound a little familiar to you about this overthinking situation that was happening yesterday?
I mean, I guess so. Yeah,
A little bit.
a little bit.
See, this is the moment you become convinced there is a man behind the curtain orchestrating your misery.
You know what though? The paranoia. I did have why can't I say it now? I just
Noia.
said
I
it.
don't know.
I
I
said it
struggle
5
too.
seconds ago. Paranoia. Wow. Whatever. I had that 2 days, a day prior to the full moon. And then that's what caused me to have self-reflection the other 2 days because I was like, girl, this is too much happening. What's going on? Get your life together. Why are you like this? Jeez.
I do remember having saying something about that. So that's like, so anyway,
So that makes sense
that
now.
particular, yeah. So that transit turns like simple conversations into what feels like high stake interrogations, right? Because your mind starts to be suspicious of things, which I'm like, that's crazy. Now let's talk about the full moon itself in Aries because there's more to this.
Okay.
So, folklore wise, y'all bear with me because this took me a minute to research. I was like, I learned a lot this week. The ancient Greeks and Romans literally believed in the angry brain juice theory. There's a lot of theories this week. They thought the moon's pull affected the fluid in our bodies, causing brain moisture to increase and leading to temporary madness and epileptic fits. They wrote it in their legal codes. And that Aries fire takes that madness and turns it into rash action. That's why you weren't just angry, you're impatient,
Mm,
impulsive,
mm,
ready to quit your job
mm,
or fight someone over a parking
mm, mm.
space. So it gives you the courage to act, but sometimes it's stupid. You're just doing stupid things. In fact, that sounds a little familiar to me because I definitely knew better than to open anything with the rusty ass pocket knife in my car. 'Cause anyway,
Did they give you a Tetris start
and
too?
then
Did
huh?
they give you a Tetris? Tetris.
A
Tetris?
tetanus. So
You
coincidentally,
had one
this is
already.
another fun fact for the people listening. Another interesting part is actually you only need to update your tetanus shot every 5 years if you have an incident like this. But generally, it's every 10 years otherwise,
Right.
right? So, funny enough, I had, in fact, already gotten a tetanus shot about 3 years ago, just because.
Okay. Well then.
Yep. And I definitely asked the medical professional because she was going to give me another one. And I was like, I had to go research medical records from like a whole different state to confirm that I, in fact, had my tetanus shot in 2022. Yeah. Yeah. The things you learn. All right, now let's talk about this Saturn retrograde. It's another piece of the puzzle, right? I was like, we done been through some things already. So, Saturn is a planet of rules, deadlines, and structure. It's basically like a HR manager,
Mhm.
which I'm like, that's crazy. Anyway, when it's in retrograde, the universe is intentionally delaying anything important. It's like a bureaucracy curse, if you think about it. It's kind of like hold. That's why, like, your money would be
Mm.
frozen or your printer doesn't wanna work, something like
Oh,
that.
okay.
So Saturn basically is enforcing a mandatory universal timeout.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah,
Oh,
crazy,
not a
right?
timeout. Okay.
Yes. So any project that was almost done, any payment that was almost processed, Saturn's like, "Hold up. Go
But
back and check the fine
what
print."
if you need the money? That's kind of messed up.
They said, "Hold, hold."
Hmm.
So this again leads me to feel really confident in the choice that this is not me. This was literally the sun, the moon, and the stars
Mm.
causing all this chaos in my life. Because it also gave me that sense like I feel like I've gone through all of these things, right? There were some impulsive decisions, there was some overthinking on your side. There's definitely some time out that needed to occur because, like I said, we came home and just gave up on life. All of us went to take a nap, including the dog and the cat. Like, it's just over. Everybody was like, nope, let's just rewind and pretend this day did not happen.
Like Groundhog Day.
That's right. Except,
No,
no, I'm
no,
not
no.
doing this
Yeah,
again.
no, no. I'm like, wait, no, it's not Groundhog Day because we don't want it to do it
Yeah.
again.
Almost in a sense of like the day starts over, but not, it actually doesn't start over. So that's why it's not. So, all right. Granted, the truth is, it's really hard to determine if this is true or not.
Mhm.
But I feel like I gave you a good scientific case.
You
Like,
did.
are you feeling do you see where I'm going with this?
I feel like I do. I think it's a little crazy, but I understand.
I mean, I feel like there's a bit of a like scientific approach here,
Mhm.
but I get it. It's a little anecdotal. So it's hard to say like this is absolutely the truth,
I
right?
mean, I like the
But
fact that I think too as people, we like to
mhm,
blame others than
that's right.
ourselves. Accountability. We take accountability when we feel like it. And granted, I'm not saying yesterday was your fault. At no side, no, absolutely not. But I would say maybe my paranoia was my fault. But I was,
Was it?
I just said I would.
Or
I
did
will definitely
the
blame
stars potentially
influenced
up
it.
the ante a
I
bit?
think they did for sure.
I'm saying, did it? So anyway, I feel like maybe that is not technically
Mhm.
the most evidence. But here's another piece of evidence to prove that the
Jeez.
full moon F's with you. Over 40% of all medical staff and 81% of mental health workers will tell you that the days around the full moon, days, let's count that, around the full moon bring more bizarre, aggressive, and straight up chaotic patients. The data may say no, but the people living this life say yes.
Mhm.
So who are we to argue with the professionals?
I mean, I feel you. Like I said, working in vet med, we definitely we will be like, "Yo, it's the full moon. Like, why everybody coming here doing stupid stuff?" Or, why we got like 5 surgeries all of a sudden at 10 o'clock at night? Like, what were y'all doing that this is what happens? And 9 and 10, it is
Yeah,
because it's a full moon,
yeah,
because something's happening or whatever, or it's about to happen, especially right before the full moon. We see increases of ER cases, and you just be like, why? What happened? Like, granted, yes, we appreciate you for keeping us a job, but what happened? Why? And then it leaves, and then it
yes.
dies down, especially, during certain things, but definitely we definitely believe in that full moon does a number and brings the crazies out, brings the unsettling out.
What the
Well, it
crazy?
is. I mean, listen, like you said, this particular retrograde or the moon is talking about us doing things that impulsively. And sometimes your crazy comes out impulsively. The things you are able to hide in and keep together, then it comes out, you be like,
That
hmm.
was a
It was
choice.
a choice, but was it really? Because you've been suppressing it so long. But
That
even
that
I
what you
think
just
too,
said.
even just talking about crazy, I saw a lot of people, homeless people, just walking in the street randomly. You'd be like, you want to die? What's happening? What's going on? You,
Jesus,
you
what?
know what? I did not tell you that. So yes, for the last couple of days, they came. Like, even like today, I had some random person walking in the middle of the street and like bent over, and you looking at him like, you realize I'm coming, right? Like, why? Uh, and then they kind of backed out last minute. It's like, were you trying to die? Oh, and then the bus almost ran me over too. And it was just like, why are you? That was yesterday. Well, what's happening? Why did you need to get in front of me when you have a whole lane? Listen.
I could tell you. I definitely felt like I needed to be like I was on the movie Final Destination. I was
Oh,
like, I need to be looking at everything. Like I was super paranoid after all of the things that happened. So that I think
but
again,
that makes
not
sense.
saying it's necessarily
But that
true,
makes sense
just
though.
saying the
But
evidence.
that makes sense though, because you had a lot of things happen yesterday. So that would make sense to be paranoid after that.
And by the way, just so y'all know, I absolutely start my day with a prayer. Okay? I pray over everyone and everything in my house every morning. So, like, for real, this was some second nature nonsense. Like, what? I really had questions, thoughts, and concerns
That that
as
you
why I
did.
ended up doing this research.
That you did.
I did. So, I feel like the first step dealing with this is acknowledging that, something might have been amiss.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I feel like if bad things comes in threes, then I've already done this already. You know what I mean? I feel like we are at the end of the crazy ass cycle because all of that happened the same day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like it's completed and therefore perhaps something good will happen for the rest of the month. At least that's what I'm hoping.
Well, I mean, yes, it will. That is over. Hopefully the full moon has now is starting to subside. Or it's not really a full moon right now. Or whatever this harvest
Right.
moon was, is no longer a harvest moon. Know what it was? Because it was also a
Perhaps.
super moon. It was a super moon. So it wasn't even like a
So it's
regular. Yes.
extra lunar energy.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
See? Listen. So I'm going to choose to believe that that last mishap ended and did it all. And therefore, I can expect the rest of October to be full of joyous, happy circumstances. Anyway,
Yeah.
so I think it's important to take some lessons from this. You know what I mean? Now, I know you might be thinking the obvious lesson is probably don't fuck with sharp objects when you're trying to open
Or
something.
when you're stressed the fuck out.
That perhaps argue with your teenager prior to them passing out on the floor to correct their diet, even though,
I don't think that would have helped in this situation. Because if somehow
man,
she would have probably like, you stress me out, mom. I love you, DC Boo, but I'm just saying, because these girls, man, oh, how are we one?
these girl
I just don't
children.
understand. How are we one?
We won what, a female, a
Yes,
girl?
because you know what?
You're saying you don't remember doing this as a child?
I don't, but I'm not saying that it's not impossible. Because if I asked my mom probably would tell me something. But it's just like whatever our girl children, we really be testing our gangsters, and then we be sitting here looking at them like what? And then clearly on Instagram when I would be strolling and looking, we're not the only ones. There's people like why they got an attitude. I don't know.
No. It is comforting to know that we're not the only
Please.
ones. I always feel, like, compelled to tell other parents, like them while you can. Because there's some days you wanna push them off, the nearest cliff, like they're on a
Or
cartoon,
like I say, I'm gonna throw
and
you
you just
across the
pray that they're
street.
okay at the end.
Or in the garbage you go.
Or
In the garbage.
I did tell them that one
Oh,
day. I
you
was like, "I'm
told.
throwing y'all both in the trash." I was like, "I've had enough." Like, I like to tell my husband I'm putting in my notice.
Oh, I did that
I am
too. See,
no longer
that's the other thing too.
interested in this
I
position.
think I definitely did that to me yesterday. So this is how I know it had to be because I finally was just like, Mom had enough. I've had enough. And I quit being your mom. And they looked at me like I was like, yeah, nah. And then I had one kid go, well, how long you gonna quit, Ma? Well, one, I'm not Ma. Two, a week.
You're not
No,
mine now?
nope, I quit. Like it was in general. Like I just quit. So you
Mm.
just need to be calling me Miss or Ma'am, like over there. Like, can you help me? Like, and I said a week, and it was like, oh, well then who's gonna take over? I don't know. Figure it out, homies. Cause, you know, I've done everybody else's chore for the rest of this week, but no one could do the dishes for me. Like it was my chore. No one could. But I've done it every day for y'all. This is why I quit.
I get it, and I respect it, to be honest,
To the point where the
because
girl child sat here and told
yeah.
people that I quit being their mom. I was like, wow.
What'd you say?
And I said, you're right. I did.
Yeah?
Absolutely. I did. And they were just like, oh. I said, yeah. And then, she
Mm.
got voted off the island. So she definitely sat here and was like, they kicked me out, so I can't come home. Girl, if you don't bring your butt into this house, I'ma hurt you.
They kicked you off the
They
island?
kicked you off the
I
island.
mean, are we on Animal Farm? Do you
Listen.
remember
Oh,
that book? Like, what happened? How you get kicked off the farm? What's going on? They were on Survivor?
they
Like,
did.
tell me
They
how they
had
got
to.
voted
Yeah,
off.
they all voted who was gonna be the leader since I wasn't mom anymore. And no one wanted her to be the leader. But then they voted her off because she was like, I'm not about to listen to y'all. So she got voted off and told to get out. And then of course the youngest, he got his feelings. Fine, I'll leave. No one wants me. Boy, shush. No one said that. And you don't want to be mom anymore. Oh my god. Oh, kid, kid. I didn't go nowhere. I'm still here. I'm just fine. I'm mom. Leave me alone.
Okay, so here's the thing.
So clearly,
Yeah,
even though I was being
yes.
philosophical, something clearly was affecting me yesterday. Where I was just like, I quit. Fuck y'all. It's like the book, The Day the Crayons Quit. That was yes. So I said,
I like that
I
book.
know, and I said the day mom quit. Y'all go and write that book.
Facts.
Write that story out. The day mom quit. What
Facts.
happened?
I tried to quit and they refused to accept my resignation. I'm pretty sure I told my husband I quit and he was just like, "Yeah, no, I'm sorry." I no longer accept your resignation, and in fact, don't even hear you." Like, I was like, "That's crazy. That's crazy work." And my children don't care. They just sat in my office until I kicked them out because they're bigger than me. So, what was I supposed to do?
Chop them down at their knees to make them short.
But why are you like this? Violence is not always the answer.
That's what I'm gonna do with mine. What? Bring yourself down. Come down there. Chop chop.
Well, fortunately, they're usually terrified, and therefore that works. Because as soon as I'm quiet, they're like, "Oh God!" They go run to their father. They're like, "Something's wrong with the mom." So, but no, they just refuse to accept any resignation at all. I try to quit at least once a week these days, and they just don't care. But you know what I did learn?
What?
I refuse to cook at least. I only cook 3 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
My husband cooks 3 days a week. And 1 day a week, we're on sabbatical. I was like, "I don't know. It's scavenge for yourself night," which I ain't gonna lie, ever since I instituted that policy, uh, Thursdays are A, firstly, my favorite day of the week. And B, even though I like to cook, you know this, but at this particular time, when I can't quite do it the way that I would normally do it, then, today is the last day I have to cook. But you know what I did do? Because regardless of me quitting, now I don't trust them to eat dinner because, you know, teenagers. I bought dino nuggets.
You know, dino nuggets, there's nothing wrong with those, man. Pop them in the air fryer,
I
about
did.
five,
I
10
was
minutes.
like, there's some french fries.
Hey,
You know what I mean? They know how to use the air
there you
fryer.
go. Self-efficient.
And there's two options. We got the big one. We got the one that's like an oven. My husband was like, he refuses to eat dino nuggets. I don't know what's wrong with that man.
They good. He missing out. Missing out.
I was like, who doesn't love dinosaur nuggets? I mean, out there, seriously, I want this in the comments. Like, I need to know who doesn't like dino nuggets and what's wrong with you? Who hurt you? Because, I mean, anything dinosaur related is
I mean, I
enjoyable to
think
me.
nuggets shouldn't be one shape. They should be multiple shapes. I'm happy that even Burger King brought back their crown shape, and they taste good. I'm just not gonna lie. But, I'm just saying. But this is where it shows how nothing happened yesterday was your fault.
Amen.
Me quitting
So
yesterday.
you like my argument
Yes.
here.
Me quitting yesterday. It makes sense why I quit. On top of me being philosophical. Mhm. Just trying to teach a
That's
lesson.
right.
Mm.
There we go.
Mhm.
So I think the mission at work was here. It was figuring out how to channel that chaos,
Mhm.
right? And now that I know this information, there's some things that I could have done a little differently,
Oh, oh.
like channeling the impulsive energy for good, such as potentially looking at things that need to be changed, planning for the future.
Mm.
Since apparently I needed not to actually do much yesterday. So I definitely could have just sat at home. And funny enough, myself, my husband, and at least one of my children, we thought about staying home yesterday before anything happened at all.
That was that gut.
But
That
I
gut
was
was trying to
like,
tell you, nah, you need to stay.
yeah, but I tried to push through because,
As adults,
I
that's
don't
what we
know,
do.
because we're Americans and we work too much. I don't know.
Not you saying we Americans and we work too much. No, how about it's just an adult?
We
Maybe
do.
it's just as an adult, we are forced as adults, as parents, and as adults who take care of their responsibilities. We push ourselves through things that we like, well, I should take a day off. I don't feel like doing this right now. And then we're like, nah, but that billing will get paid by itself. You need to go.
Yeah, that's not.
So
Mm.
that's what I'm gonna say. I think it's that. Yeah, granted, definitely the impulses, and we should have, we do need to pay attention to our bodies, our minds, and our thought process. If we feel like we
Mhm.
shouldn't be doing something, 9 out of 10, you shouldn't do it.
Agreed. A lesson to be learned for sure, as I also thought about what I was doing as probably dumb about 15 seconds before I cut myself. But it didn't register quickly enough.
It was
Clearly.
that impulse that the retrograde was holding. Mhm.
That's right. So you see, I have proved
Mhm.
the case of the lunacy,
You did. You
right?
did. I'm with you.
So out there, prepare for the next full moon accordingly. We want to invite you to share your lunacy stories with us as well. Perhaps you did not nearly mutilate yourself the way that I did, or watch your child collapse in front of you, traumatizing the entire household because, and by the way, she's okay, people. I mean, she's okay. But I'm just saying, like, perhaps you have not gone through that. But maybe you had your own what the
Mhm.
story from the full moon, and we wanna hear it
Just like those people
because
that had the accent praying that everybody's good, but that's a
you're right.
whole they had their what the fuck.
Yeah, there definitely was a huge accident here yesterday. Funny enough, again, this is why I felt like it was like Final Destination at first, and I
Mhm.
was like, "I don't like the way that ends." Because my husband was calling me on his way when I was driving to the gym. He called me to tell me about an accident and to warn me to stay off a particular road. He was like, "There's this huge accident and they're pulling people from ditches." And I was like, "Sweet Jesus, that's horrible." Did my little prayer for everybody there. And then that same accident ended up coming up later that day
Mhm.
when I was talking to the nurse in the urgent care. And she goes, "Yeah, because there was definitely this accident." And I was like, "On this street?" And she goes, "Yep, the same street." And I was like, "Two people are telling me about this. So I'm going to go home after this because
Don't
I don't need
don't need to
another
pass
reminder."
go, just go straight straight to home.
But I will tell you,
Yeah.
my son did the smartest thing out of all of us
What
yesterday
was happening?
and got off scot free. I didn't even tell you this yet. So he's supposed to take out the trash, right?
Mhm.
So he tells me, he goes, "Mom," he comes in here at like after midnight because I'm just not sleeping. Just did not happen yesterday. So he comes in here after midnight and he goes, "Mom, I'm going to have to take a rain check on taking the trash
Ooh.
out." And I was like, "What's up with that?" "What do you mean?" He goes, "I went out to do it and I heard this rattling sound."
Uh-oh.
He goes, "And then further, it felt like it was coming towards me." So I decided to promptly turn around and close the
You know
door.
what? That's smart.
So shout out to my boy child,
He made
the
sure
only one of
he
us.
made sure in the horror film he wasn't going to be the first one to die. I hear you. I get that
Ye
one right there. Clap, clap, clap.
And he immediately comes in and is like, "Are you proud of me?" I said, "Amazingly, I am very, very proud of you for being the only one of us who escaped the insanity of this lun lunacy situation," because he was like, "Nope," I just promptly turned around and came back inside. And I thought, I raised him right. Raised him
Listen.
right. I didn't listen, but one of us learned the lesson. One of us did, clearly.
Not you did. Listen. Okay.
So,
Yep. Oh, wow.
with
That is a
that,
lot. That was a lot going on. So we definitely want to hear if you guys had any stories or anything in those comments.
please feel
Let us
free.
know.
You can tag us.
Mhm.
You can add comments to this video. And with that, we want to remind you that you can subscribe to us on your favorite podcast channel. We appreciate you for joining us for today's life episode. It is all about lunacy, really, and the dangers of the full moon. And you might say to yourself, this is a new episode for Main Event Mamas. But no, it's really important to remember we are unique and that we like to tell stories about life, even stories that involve my own injuries. In fact, and it's October. So, what better time to give you the argument of my life, which is ultimately that this is all the moon's fault. And with that, Tanesha, where can they listen to us?
So, of course, you can listen to us on iHeartRadio, on Pocket Podcasts, on Apple Podcasts, on Amazon Music, Amazon Audible, apparently YouTube Music now. You can also follow us on Twitter, Facebook, on Instagram, on Threads, on TikTok.
Mhm.
Yeah. You can follow us
Yep.
individually on Instagram. Uh, I am Tanesha underscore Mama Pod, as well on my TikTok. Come get my follows up. Tanesha underscore Mama Pod. You can follow Kiara on Instagram at is it underscore? No. Kiara,
No
no
underscore.
underscore. Kiara Mama Pod, as well on
Mhm.
Twitter. She is Content Vixen with her chocolateness. Um, and then of course you can follow us on Instagram and everybody with, Main Event Mamas podcast. Our website at
That's right.
www.maineventmamaspodcast.com. And what can they do on that
That's
website there,
right.
Kiara?
You can absolutely leave us a voicemail.
What's up,
You
Apollo?
can No, that was my husband being nosy, probably coming to get me because it's past my bedtime. What did I say, y'all? I don't think he trusts me to be around sharp objects at this time,
Mm-mm.
so he's like, need to make sure you're all well." So, that's crazy.
But what can they do on that website one more
Yes,
time?
yes. So you can leave us a voicemail. You can read our latest blogs because we like to give you all the previews of the wrestling events or recaps of our live episode. And we're even going to give you a bonus this time where we're going to explain the lunacy situation in a blog to you. So if you're like, I want to cite this, 100% there's going to be a blog up soon for you to say, hey, the mamas argue about this. It's a great excuse to write a note to work and the next time it's a full moon and you don't want to go. Just lean into that feeling. Don't be me. Don't be me. And then also, we want to remind you that you can join several of our groups in our communities. You can join our Facebook group, the Main Event Mama Squad, which is a free and public group for you to get the scoop on the behind the scenes stuff. We like to write posts that recap the latest wrestling events. You can find out what happened on Raw or what we thought about SmackDown. And I definitely have lots to say about many things that you'll hear in the next episode. And then you can also join our Patreon to support us. If you like what you're listening to and you want to hear more, feel free to join. There is a free option, but there's also tiers going all the way up to our Hall of Fame tier, which helps us and supports us by buying a AEW PLE, in case you want us to cover that.
And then we got merch coming, guys.
Yes, that is the big announcement, is that our merch store is actually up. So if you visit our website, it's going to be there. You can also actually get a sneak peek at it through our link tree, which is pretty much either on our website or multiple social media bios. And then you'll get a taste of the cool merchandise that we've put together for you. And there's more coming, which is even better. So just keep your eyes peeled on the official announcement. But until then, we're going to soft launch it and give you that opportunity to click the link that's going to be below in the video. And with that, we want to say we're not new to this.
We're so true to this. And this was Main Event Mamas. Ow!
Whoop, whoop.
All right, it's time to go to bed.
Yep. Yep, that it is. Yes, it is.